Table saw cleanup. So my saw is a few years old. It's a Sears Craftsman Professional Series cabinet saw, and it's actually served me well. It's one of the best tools that they ever resold. So over the years, I've done everything in the world on my table saw. I've used it for a sanding bench, a layout bench, a glue-up bench, a saw top, places to set stuff when I'm working on other things, a convenient place to put a coffee or a Coke can. So now I got to clean all that years worth of built up grime and rust and everything off the top of my saw and get it back in good shape, so I don't put stains on the bottom of pieces of wood, and I don't have little catches here and there, and just so everything glides and moves freely. The tools that I'm going to use today is I'm going to use a random orbital sander. I'm going to use a few grits of sandpaper, starting with a 100 grit, 220, and then a 320 grit. And then I've got some double aught steel wool. I think it's actually triple aught steel wool. And then after I'm done with that and clean it off, then I'm going to put some paste wax on there. I use Trewax. Found it to be really good stuff, and it's not as expensive as some of the other leading brands. Got this on Amazon. Clear paste wax. I use it on the bottom of all my jigs, my router table. So I'm taking the steel wool. It's probably not going to do a whole lot more than what the sander has already done, but it allows me to put focus pinpoint pressure on something. If it's a stain or something, I'll see if I can get it out and make sure it's not a catching spot. And then I'm just going over it. It gives me a little hands-on feeling of what's really going on with this table surface. Alright, I finished sanding the top of my table saw and even did this little wing over here, so that's good. So now I need to clean it off, wipe all that debris off, all that metal junk that is mostly on my hands now. I'm going to clean all that off, and then I'm going to start applying liberal coats of paste wax. Let that dry for just a few minutes, and then I'm going to buff all that back out. All right, so I've got the entire table waxed, and now I'm going to use my electric buffer just to clear that coat of wax off and hopefully polish things up just a little bit. So the tabletop is nice and slick. I don't have a lot of metal dust on the bottom of my waxing pad here where I polished that out. So I've got all the metal dust off of it. It's got a couple of good coats of paste wax on it and polished down. So now this thing should really slick and slide.